goals. What do you want to accomplish? And how quickly you want to accomplish that. So let's create a roadmap. What needs to happen? Because inside of every business, inside of every compensation plan, there is a structure, right? And I keep saying that I heard that a long time ago when I just started building the business in the field myself. One of my mentors said that network marketing is a math game. And all rank advancement and all comp plans can be broken by different steps, and like a math, what needs to happen in order to achieve certain goal. So first of all, realize what is the rank that you want to achieve, right? If you do not necessarily know your compensation plan yet as well, how much money you want to make, right? So like you say, it's like, okay, I want to make $2,000 a month. So connect with your sponsor and tell them and ask them to help and break it down for you. What needs to happen in order for that $2,000 a month income to become real? Because like I said, in every comp plan, there is a structure. So there is some kind of a volume that needs to be generated by selling the products and services that you have. There typically has to be some kind of a structure. And by structure, I mean distributors, right? So it depends on your binary plan or unilevel, whatever the plan you have. Like different distributors have to be kind of like placed in a different places, and that's how the volume needs to be calculated and generated. So find out what needs to happen. So how many distributors you need to have, how much volume you need to generate, and start breaking it down backwards. Like in order for you to have, let's say, in order for you to make, and I'm just making this up right now, right? Let's say in order to make $2,000, you have to have 6 distributors generating 4,000 volume, right? And the volume pretty much calculated in the connection to the products sold, right? So different companies calculate their volume slightly differently, but whatever that, however that volume is calculated. So now break down, okay, what needs to happen? How much volume, how much product is that much volume? And okay, it's 10 boxes of such and such a product, for example. And so you start thinking, it's like, okay, in order to sell 10 boxes of that product, like I need to have certain amount of customers, because on average customers buy such and such an amount, right? So we need to kind of like get a little bit more concrete, right? Kind of like start into getting into the little nitty gritty of the business. So break it down. How many customers do you need? How much product the customers buys on average? So that will give you the total amount of customers you need to have in order to generate that volume. Now let's go back to distributors. Okay, if you need to have 5, 6 distributors, whatever it is, how many people you need to talk to on average in order to sign them up? So if you're just getting started, you probably do not necessarily have that stat yet, but on average, again, what happens is if you talk to 10 people, if you present your opportunity and you're fairly skilled, you're probably going to sign up anywhere between 1 to 2 people as a distributor. You're probably going to have 2, 3 customers or 4 customers. It all depends on your skill set, right? So it all depends on how experienced you are. It all depends on your skill set. So all of those things vary. And the good thing about it is, if you're just getting started and your stats are not as good as you would like it to be, guess what? You can work on them. You can get better. You can get into much higher closing ratio, right? So like today, if I would be building in the field, I would probably be closing at least 50%, maybe more, right? The amount of people that I talk to, because I have already certain level of experience, the years and the knowledge, right? That will allow me to do certain things. But don't stress. Start and meet yourself where you are, but let's go back to breaking it down. So break it down. How many meetings you need to have, how many presentations you need to have in order to generate or bring a certain amount of distributors into your business. Now back to even step further. In order for you to have, let's say, if you want to bring five distributors, if we're going to use that same ratio, that you're going to close 1 or 2 people out of 10. So we're talking about potentially 50 people that you need to present to in order to sign your 5 distributors, right? So now, okay, how many presentations how many people you need to invite, because guess what? Not everybody going to show up at that meeting. People gonna find different reasons why something happened in their life and they cannot show up. So you're gonna lose some people. They're gonna say they're gonna come, they're gonna say they're gonna show up on that Zoom or at the meeting, and they will not show you. So, and that's okay. We just need to understand those numbers. So however many people you typically know that are not going to show up, then that means that, let's say, instead of 50 invites, you have to have 75 or 100 people invited, so those 50 show up. So do you see my point? It's math, right? So you can break it down, and that's pretty much what the majority of the business plans are. It's just and break. I know we kind of like lost the connection. Hopefully we're back. So breaking it down into smaller steps. Another very, very important thing that I want to mention today is, like I said, the KPIs, the key performance indicators, are crucial for any business, because what ends up happening most of the times, leaders and distributors do not know what they have to work with. Oftentimes they do not know how many big, if your team is small, you probably know, like, yeah, I have like 2, 3 or 5 or 10 or 20 active distributors, and other people are not doing anything. But when was the last time, especially if you have a little bit larger organization, if you've been around a little bit longer, when was the last time you talked to your like one-on-one distributors and had a conversation with them and asked them, like, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What are you trying to accomplish this year or this quarter? What's next for you, right? So first of all, to find out where they are mentally, because oftentimes people just sitting and waiting for somebody to notice them because they don't even know where to start. So as leaders, we need to recognize that we need to do what we call inventory pretty often, especially if your company is launching a new product, or your company is creating a new program, or your company just launched a new initiative, whatever it might be, especially if there is some kind of a launch or the program that it's being rolled out. You need to go back to your team and take a deep inventory and ask them, okay, so the company is going with this initiative. Who is going to be participating in it? And ask people where they see themselves. Some people will say, yay, I'm in, I'm going to roll with this promotion, I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to reach to the next height of my rank advancement or my income level or whatever it might be, or I just want to qualify for the trip. Something like that, right? Or some people are gonna say, no, now it's not a good time. I just had a baby, or something just happened, or something is wrong with the health, or whatever it might be, right? So it might not be the best time. So first of all, do not judge people based on their answer. Just meet them where they are. And if they say now is not the time, first of all, remember, it's not never. It's just now is not the time. So don't take it personally. Don't take it like as a complete rejection. Just recognize we all have lives and things are happening in our lives, and now is not the best time for that particular leader. But everybody else who says, you know what, now is a good time for me, I'm in, let's go. So you, by just separating the group in these two different categories, people who are ready to work right now and people who are right now not the best time for them, you know that now you just, that group that it's not the best time for them, you plug them into your group time, you still love them, you still support them, but you cannot, as a leader who is going into a specific launch or program, you cannot spend a lot of your personal time with them. So your personal time needs to be dedicated specifically to this group of people who raised their hand and said, I'm ready. So that's the group of people that you jump on the calls with. That's the group of people that you spend your personal time if they need you for the 3-way call to talk to their prospects, or if you do a special leadership training for them, or that special program or the product that you just launched training for them. So you work as close as you possibly can with this group. And you know what's going to happen next? Some people out of that group also going to fall. And something gonna happen. Either again, love potentially can get in the way, or life can get in the way, and they can get distracted. And even though they raised their hand and said, I'm ready, I want to go, they may just also disappear. And again, that's okay, because these are people they have their lives, they have their stuff happening. So if they disappear, that's fine. So don't be mad at them and continue to work with the people who are still active, because guess what? Typically, and you probably notice that as well, when you ask a large group of people if they want to do something or if they're excited about something, a lot of people are going to raise their hand, right? And say, it's like, yay, I'm excited. And sometimes people just want to speak into existence, their big hopes and big dreams, but inside they might be scared to death. They do not know how to talk to that prospects. They had one too many no's, and now they just really kind of like sitting back and not taking any action. So first of all, understanding where people are mentally, and try to bring them and separate them into these groups. Like one that it's going to be having a group time and group knowledge and information and training from you, and one that it's deserving your personal time. You still love them equally, but understanding that people may shift between those two groups too. So people who raise their hand right at the beginning eventually may fall off. So again, you just move them into the group of a group time and spend more time with people who are actually doing things. And how you will know, and that's also part of the inventory, because when you give them certain assignments, when you tell people like, okay, for example, if you're bringing a new distributor on board, the assignments need to be pretty simple, right? Because like we do not want to overwhelm them, even though they talk a big talk and they talk a big game, and they may just say like, oh, I want this much and I want to make that much money and I want to do this, whatever. But once they start doing like basic activities, they may get a little kind of like cold feet, right? Or they may they may think that every single person that they're gonna talk to gonna sign up, and somebody says no, right? Or the person they really thought gonna say yes and gonna build a business and gonna go all the way to the top with them says like, nah, it's not for me, I don't like it. So we need to work through some of those emotions, but also give them assignments based on their either skill set, based on their ambition, based on their abilities. And how will you know, right? So first of all, you ask them a question, right? What are their ambitions? What are their goals? What are their hopes and dreams? And if their hopes and dreams and ambitions are super high, you give them a little higher assignment. And if they do not necessarily fulfill that assignment, don't be mad at them. Just make the assignment a little bit smaller. Like I said, oftentimes people just, want to talk the tough talk before they're ready, just because, they want to build that belief in themselves, right? They're kind of like, oftentimes you hear people say, fake it until you make it. And that's exactly what is happening. They're faking it, their courage. They're faking it, their confidence. They're faking it, that big ambition and desire to do big things, but they may not necessarily ready. So just work with them. Make the assignment a little bit smaller, and help them grow and educate them step by step. So again, that's part of what we do inside of our business. So to give you